Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking another look here at Litecoin. I was asked by one of my newer community members here to go ahead and get this covered. So I think it's Manu, if I'm saying that correctly. Thank you so much for your request. Really appreciate that. Future reference, you can go ahead and place that in the request section, a little bit easier to track, but I do appreciate it nonetheless. And what we want to do here is look at a few key factors with Litecoin. There's some stark realities here that we need to kind of acknowledge that are truly bearish, and we need to kind of, I guess, just pay attention to that being a potential reality. Quickly to note, though, I do want to congratulate a lot of our community members because we like to highlight the positive here in this community. Good job, fantastic work on the 82% lever trade there we took as a short. That is basically 2 days, 2.5 days, 82%. And we also took a long last night from Gala. That trade is still open. Target number one, 22% in only 4 hours. So the list goes on, honestly, for a lot of different benefits that you can be provided with if you want to decide to become a community member here with our Crypto Cash Premium. Link down below if you want to interest yourself in some more opportunities. So speaking of opportunity, let's talk a little bit about the reality here. So first of all, bearish pennant patterns, never the greatest, honestly. These are coins that are, these are patterns that happens with coins like this, and unfortunately, this coin is bleeding out pretty hard. So when we had a correction from Bitcoin, Litecoin struggled hard. It was one of the first coins to drop very hard. In fact, I was looking at it closely at the time, and it dropped before Bitcoin even came down. So I don't know if that tells you anything, but Litecoin is one of those coins that I kind of like to steer away from personally. Yes, we do trade it on the daily. If you take a look here, if I recall correctly, for our Premium Plus, we did take a Solana loss there, but for the most part, we take a lot of profits from Solana, XRP, BNB, XRP, Solana again. I know Litecoin's in here somewhere. So Solana, XRP. Okay. Well, we do trade Litecoin. Take my word for it. It's not my favorite coin to trade, but that's more of an automated trading system that I have with trading bots for my Premium Plus group. So in truth, minus the automated trading strategy that I have in place, I like to avoid this coin. So that's just me personally, mainly because I've gotten bit a couple times by this coin. I think it's a highly manipulated coin and not the best coin to effectively trade. So let's just talk a little bit about this. First of all, bearish pennant patterns have a tendency of working themselves down for lower lows and lower highs, and inevitably working themselves to the downside because they originated from the upside. Okay. So in order for this to stop, this to discontinue, we need to see a higher low. Okay. So we need to essentially create something along these lines. So what we're looking for, truthfully, is a closure above 68.83. Okay. And I'll go ahead and mark that on the chart here. So basically, we need to have a closure above this level to be able to have any success. You can see a pretty stark reality here. This is why we see that pattern form. We hit a higher high and rejected, higher high, rejected, high, rejected. So truth is here, until we can break above that plane and close above it soundly, there's no reason to expect this bearish pennant to discontinue. We also have this double top as well here, and that's also concerning. What that basically just implies, we'll probably see a liquidity sweep here of this lower level before the price action sweeps back up again. So my speculation is that we're going to see a lower price point for Litecoin before we see a higher price point. Again, this is just speculation based on macro. That's not the only reason to make a decision, but generally speaking, we don't have any fantastic things here. We are below 50 on the RSI as well, which leads to our decrease in value. We've got a MACD divergence on the horizon. And as far as moving averages are concerned, we're kind of at this point where we are struggling below both of them. So to me personally, based on what I see here so far, again, I'm going to look at smaller time frames. There's literally nothing here that tells me I want to take a long position. Only reason I'd want to take a long is if we sweep this lower lows here, this lower liquidity level, and we can get in around 55 to 60. That's just kind of what I'm thinking there. Take a look at the 4 hour though. Let's take a quick peek here. We can see this liquidity levels as well. We got a liquidity sweep potential there and there. So we got somewhere in the lower 62 range and the upper 68 range. Everything in between is just nonsense. In other words, not really ideal. Now you could argue the fact that, hey, we keep maintaining this lower low here, it's going to bounce and continue higher. Yes, it is range bound, that's no doubt, and you could very well be profitable to take a long position from somewhere here to here. That's a good 8%. Okay. Again, I don't like to take trades like that because it's too risky, because the macro just looks terrible to me. If I take a trade, honestly, right now, a short seems much more appropriate. I don't like shorting the bottom, but if the price comes down here to break through this level, I would short right there after we've broken through for a more likelihood of the price continuing lower. So I'm leaning a little bit more towards shorting this coin here in the relative near future, especially with my anticipation of Bitcoin potentially pulling back. I want to highlight this to you guys because I think it's important to recognize Bitcoin has a tremendous amount of liquidation levels at lower price points. And these are areas in which whales are really, really trying to sweep. Okay, so 27,000 is a start, 26.6, 26K, even those are all areas in which I'm planning to add to my spot position because the likelihood of the price action getting liquidated there is fairly high. Okay, so that's just my speculation there. If Bitcoin drops, Litecoin will drop 2x. It's done it before, it'll probably do it again. Okay. So all that being said, we are fairly low on the RSI, so a potential bounce in the relative near future makes sense. So keep in mind, we are overextended to the downside here. We are in overtime on the 4-hour. It would make less sense for the price to drop from here unless Bitcoin drops first. Okay, so Bitcoin can just stay where it's at. Litecoin may very well recover to the $68 range and retest, possibly even break it. But until then, I'm not going to care to even bother to touch this with a 10-foot pole. I know I sound terribly biased. I apologize. It's just one of those things. Some coins, you have a tendency of steering clear of them, and this is one of those coins that's not exuding very good behaviors. It makes a lot more sense to consider a short than a long. But once again, we're overextended to the downside. A reversal may very well happen. We are range bound. It would make sense to see a push towards 68 before a push towards 50. Okay. So taking a look here, last but not least, Ichimoku Cloud. All green lights here to leave your short position open. However, that window is closing soon. So we do have momentum to the downside, but the lagging span will intersect soon. That's kind of the first indication of be able to consider taking profits on your short position if you have one. So if you have a short position open right now, you might have wanted to consider taking some profits by now at this point. All right, so what is the long story short here on this guy? Well, simply put, we are truly bearish on most time frames. While we are range bound, there's potential for a bounce here. I don't feel comfortable taking a long position. If the price does come down here and come back up to retest, just say we break down below 63 and we retest it, that's good likelihood for a short position to continue that bearish pennant pattern or that double top that we're seeing right now. Okay. I don't really have a lot of good things to say about this coin right now. So I apologize. Hopefully this is definitely nothing personal. Just really, honestly, from outside looking in, there's not a lot of benefit here of taking a trade. What I hope does happen is the price comes up here so we can consider a short at this level at 68 and come down lower. Just like I'm looking for a short closer to 1700 for Ethereum, there's a lot of reasons why. Again, just to touch on this here as well, I know we're not covering Ethereum, but same thing as well. There's a tremendous amount of liquidity just below the current price point, and a sweep right there makes perfect sense. Okay? So again, just some things to kind of think about. These are all things I sent on my Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, so be sure to check that out. Once again, you want to become part of our community, jump on over to these really awesome, consistent trades. Feel free to check it out. CryptoCash.tech is the site. Link down below. I look forward to working with you. I really hope you have a good rest of your day. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.